This is the video for the Drawing with Pencil and Paintbrush E-Design Challenge with GIMP for IS 2015. The challenge was to create an image like this, where you had a drawing in the foreground and a repeated photographic image in the background. In this case, the foreground drawing was a bird with a crown on it. Let's call him the Bird King. And in the background was a wall of cats. The source photograph for this was this one here, where Simon is sitting on the fridge. The tools that you would use in order to accomplish this are on this screen here. In particular, pay attention to the Paths tool and a few of the other tools. So let's begin. How do you create an image like this? Well, there's two parts to it. There's the foreground, which is the drawing, and then the background, which is the repeated cat image. Let's start with the drawing. If I go to File, New, if I create an image 1000 by 1000, 300 resolution, click OK. Notice that the background is black because when I created that new file, the background here was black and the foreground white. Normally it's the other way around. I'm going to actually just delete this layer in the new document and create a new background. We'll just call it background. And we'll just make sure that that background is white. Okay. Alright, so here's our background. Our goal is to create this, so I'm going to start with another layer on which I'm going to draw the Bird King. So, Bird King, transparency, click OK. I now have a transparent layer. I can click the eye on and off to show the background. With the Bird King, I'm going to use a paintbrush. I've got the paintbrush selected here. The important thing when you're using the paintbrush is to make sure that you have the appropriate brush selected. In that respect, it's hard to tell the difference between the pencil tool and the paintbrush tool. But in either case, it is important to make sure that with the tool you select the right type of brush. In my case, I've selected Block 01. But certainly that's not the only brush that you have available. There's quite a few that you can use with different results. Then I can begin to color it in using the bucket tool. And here is our Bird King. Looks good. Now, what we want to do now is we'll create a save file for this, just in case there's any kind of mix-up. So here's the Bird King. Notice I saved it as a GIMP file, an XCF file. The next step is we're going to focus on the cat. Now notice that with the cat, it's kind of a dark image, and if you look at here, it's also yellow. This is not yellow. So first things first, we'll isolate the cat. So I can use the Path tool. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to select by the path. So here's my selection. You can see the little dots. I'm going to create a new layer, a transparent layer. We'll call that the cat. Click OK. I now have a transparent layer. That is where I will paste the selected cat. Select, edit, copy, go into the cat layer, edit, paste. It didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. Let's try that again. Select, one path, edit, copy. I'll try, let's say, white background. There, that's the cat I want. So we know that the cat is on the clipboard. Just for the sake of argument, I'm going to try again, creating a layer. So we'll create a transparent layer. Okay. And in this layer, I'm going to try to paste cat. There he is. That's what I wanted. So select one, and I can actually anchor that layer down to the cat alone. So here we see Simon the cat. Now, I don't need this entire canvas, I just really need the cat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to, let's just go back to the path tool, and click the cat, create a wall of cats. Now, in order to do this, just for the sake of argument, I'm going to create a new file, and actually instead of a new file, let's create a new layer in the Bird King. Call this one cat wall, transparent, hide the Bird King for a moment, and what we're going to do is we're going to paste the cat. Now, first thing to notice is that that cat is huge. You ask yourself, why is the cat huge? And the reason is because on this original image, if I look at the image properties, it's actually 2300 by 4160 pixels. That's the image of the cat. By comparison, the image of the Bird King, remember we had set it up as a 1000 by 1000 image. So this is actually much smaller than the cat. So let's get rid of that cat wall layer. What we need to do is we actually need to scale this cat down. So click scale, click the cat, and let's actually make him 300 pixels. It should automatically try to set the size. We're going to scale this down. Actually, what we'll do is use the rectangle tool and just select the area around the cat so we don't have this extraneous space around it. Image crop to selection, so we're just focusing on this. And we're going to rescale this image to 300 by 300. Click OK. So I'm zooming in. Here is a 300 by 300 cat image. And what we're going to do is select this path, copy it, and this time we're going to go back to the cat wall and paste the cat. Okay, good. So what we want is we want a wall of cats. So I can actually go nuts trying to paste. One option that might be available to me is to use the paintbrush, because the paintbrush actually has a clipboard tool that allows you to paint using the clipboard. However, let's see if it does it. No, it's not quite what we want. These are miniature cats, so let's undo that. And we'll just try to do the straight up copy and paste. In fact, something that we can do is a clone tool. Selectively copy from an image or pattern using a brush. So forget how to use the clone tool. select the cat, go to copy, paste, paste. Paste, paste, paste a couple times. Notice that the copies that I'm making are just coming from the last selection. Now that might seem like a lot of cats, but I can actually create more if I simply duplicate this layer. I now have 2 layers of cats, and if I remove those, I have a cat army here. Easily can fill a wall full of cats. The Bird King will never know what hit him. Probably need one more for that corner. Alright, that looks like a solid wall of cats. Now, this begs the question, how do you make those cats yellow? Well, one thing that you can do before we get too carried away is I'm going to merge these cat wall pictures into one single wall. So now there's just one image that is all wall-to-wall cats. You have the Bird King. If I turn on the Bird King, notice that you can't see the Bird King, and the reason why is because he's not in front. But now if I put the Bird King on top, remember it's transparencies, and now I have the Bird King in front of that wall of cats. However, before we get too carried away with the Bird King, there's one more thing. Notice that the cats are all kind of yellow. So how do you make yellow cats? Well, here's where we get into color. So if you go into the color balance, you can actually make adjustments to the colors of cats. That's more red. So I boost the yellow, you'll notice it looks more blue. So that's an interesting effect, but not quite the one that we want. Let's just reset those. I think for this, what actually was done was an adjustment of the color curve. And so notice that when we change the color curve, we can do quite a few things. And there's another exercise that we're going to do that actually will play with this. But I think it was curves or levels. There's different ways in which you can adjust the color of things. And the way in order to make this wall of cats more yellow, if I recall correctly, it involved changing one of these settings. You can experiment a bit to find it, but certainly if you change the brightness or contrast, these are things that will make it lighter or darker. But to get pure yellow, I think it was actually just purely the color balance. Something like that. Yeah, that's about right. So click OK. Notice we changed the color balance, so now we have a wall of cats. I turn back on the Bird King. There he is in front of his kingdom of cats. It says cat army. I don't know. So if we go File, save as, we can now save the image. And there you have it. You can also export this image as a JPEG. and you're done.